And so share my screen and then we will get started here. There we go. So as I mentioned, we're going to be talking about Facebook chat or Facebook Messenger, and then how do you utilize that to grow your real estate business. It's the biggest advantage of Facebook, of the chat messenger feature, is you've got people on Facebook, obviously. So um, that's a captive audience. And folks like the idea of Messenger because it gives them the opportunity to start a conversation without having to make a phone call. For some reason, people don't like the phone call, but it is what it is. This is so. This is my Facebook page. Here's a shot of what the messenger looks like. If somebody comes to my page, they click send a message, and so this is really where you find this. It's the send message tab, or the messenger tab, as you can see kind of hidden behind here, the little lightning bolt sideways. But some of the reasons and some of the stats with Messenger, 45% of consumers would rather talk to uh, something automated than read an email. They hate waiting more than a minute for support. So it's the support feature. We want instant answers to our questions, instant activity, instant response. 54% interacting with the provider through Messenger prefer interacting over email. And then people like to make appointments and confirm orders or whatever via Messenger as well. So the Messenger tab is an important component. Some of those statistics show that why customers prefer chat, and the fact that it's 79% they get immediate answers. That's their primary reason for using that. 51% like the ability to multitask, so they can click Messenger and send that message while they're still working or looking at their video or doing whatever they want to do. So you can still get that instant approach. 45% because of the efficiency of it. 29% better communication, and another 29% is control over the conversation. And then the reluctance to talk over the phone is 22%. So a lot of different reasons for that, but regardless of that factor, it's becoming an important communication medium for businesses because we're used to that instant gratification. Now, ideally, if it were available, it might be easier for you to do a text message via as a response from your Facebook page, but text messaging is not integrated into your business page, so your Facebook business page. So as a result, then chat's the next best thing, or the Messenger tab is the next best thing. The other thing that's ideal with the Messenger tab is when you do get a message, it does pop up a little chat head, so you can, on your phone or your tablet, so you know that that you have something and you can respond to it. It's an interesting stat, and I meant to put it on the slides and I didn't. An interesting stat is that with realtors, the average consumer expects a response within an hour, and that's probably too long. Nowadays, I would say they expect a response within a matter of a few minutes. With realtors, the average response time, and this was a year or so ago, so the stats have probably changed somewhat, but the response time was over 8 hours average for a realtor to get back to somebody asking a question. So equate that to a phone call. Equate that to the fact that somebody calls you and leaves you a voice message, and hey, I'm interested in listing my house, and you don't get back to them till the next day. What kind of message does that send out to them? So we have to really be, if you're going to utilize Messenger, you have to be where you can make sure you monitor that, because people expect a response as soon as possible. But don't get discouraged yet, because we got some automation that will make that happen. And that's really what a lot of what we're going to talk about. You're really trying to convert visitors into contacts. So when somebody messages you, that starts a conversation with a prospect, it'll add them to your message list, so that to your contact list, so that you can message them directly. And then you can automatically direct visitors to a particular destination, like your website. So it has some real potential of converting those visitors into solid contacts. So the first thing you have is you have instant reply. Now, the instant reply is exactly what it sounds like, is that when somebody sends you a message on Instagram or Messenger, they get an instant reply back that says, "Thank you for contacting me, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible," or whatever your message says. You have 500 characters of text, and you can personalize it with a name, but you can also include a website, a phone number, an email, an address, or a Facebook page link. So there is personalization that allows you to customize that instant reply that they get back. So, for example, here's what that screen looks like. And let me back up just a moment, and let me show you how to get to these the automated responses. Let's pull this page over. There we go. So this is my business page, and this is the new layout. So you should have this now. But when you come to the new layout, the manage your page, you come over here to inbox. And once you go to the inbox, then you'll see at the bottom automated responses. And then that's where you have the option of the instant reply, an away message if you're going to be out and you want to send an away message. Frequently asked questions, we're going to talk about that a lot here in a few minutes. And then page recommendations, or it's another thing we're going to talk about, but they're all right here. And the way you make any changes to the instant reply, for example, you turn it on. If it's not already on, you turn it on, you come over here to edit, and this is where you'll do the edit. So you can choose which platform, whether you want it to be on Messenger, on Instagram, or both, because people can send you a direct message to Instagram as well. The timing is instant with obviously the instant reply. You don't have anything set there. And then you've got 500 characters of message to fit into here. You also have personalization, and I always like to personalize the message. So, for example, if I want to say first name of the recipient, really, remember, we're trying to build that rapport. So I don't like the idea of using a full name. That's a little too formal. I'd rather it be a little more personalized. So by clicking the first name of the contact, it puts that there, and then your message follows that. If you wanted to, and then you can say, thanks for contacting or whatever. But you can also say, if you need immediate assistance, then here's my phone number. And it's the phone number that's tied to your business page. Or you can say, reach out to on my, you can send me an email, and the email is going to be the email that's tied to the business page. So all of these are components that you can work into that conversation. So you could say, thanks for messaging me. I will get back to you. Or whatever you want to say. In the meantime, and there's the phone number. Or email me at. So there, that's all it takes to personalize that message. And then you just simply save that, and it's and that's what it looks like when they get that message. So pretty simple, but that's the way you set that up. Then you come up here and save it. You can preview it in Messenger as well, but you save it, and that's the personalization. Now, personalize it with my name because it says, because that's the account that's logged in. It'll put their name in its place. So that's what the instant reply looks like. And again, this shows you that whole layout here. So that's, if nothing else, that's a great tool to start with, because it lets them know that you got the message and you'll get back to them. Otherwise, they're going to sit there and get nothing. So, and just wonder, did they get my message? Did they, are they ignoring it? Did they, what's the deal? We used to have there used to be an option in here that said, in what time do you normally respond? And we always had a challenge with that during some sessions when we worked with people, when we were working with individual realtors. Brenda and I would, because that, it would say, well, you normally get back within, and it actually put a time on it that said you normally respond within 8 hours, or and we never figured out what caused that or how it figured that, because most everybody that was using it was responding almost immediately. But Brenda will be happy to know that they took that piece out, so they're not making that judgment call based on your response. It's the instant reply. So when you set up the instant reply, again, this kind of walks you through it. I took you through that on the screen so you can see where those are, how that works. But so what I want to do now is I want to talk about the questions and responses, because the frequently asked questions, because this is really, to me, the real meat and potatoes of what this can do for you. When you get, when somebody messages or comes to your Messenger page, then what happens, I'm going to back up a screen so you can see what happens if you're utilizing the frequently asked questions, is you pre-populate 4 different questions that they can answer. So when you populate those in, now all they have to do is click one of those questions and ask that particular question. And as a result, they get a response to that question back instantaneously. So this is, to me, I recommend everybody have this set up. If you don't, you're missing an opportunity. And let me show you some of the things that it does. That's this right here. It's under frequently asked questions, same place I showed you before, under inbox, automated response, frequently asked questions. And then you go edit. So I'm going to take you to the next screen. So you have 4 questions. So what you want to do is you want to cover the 4 most important areas of your business. You don't know who is coming to your page and asking you a question. So what you want to do is you want to offer a series of questions that would cover everyone that comes to your, that asks you or comes to the messenger. So you would ask things like, are you interested in buying a new home? And what you're trying to do is just figure out their interest level. What are they looking for? Are they interested in, are they going to be potential home buyers? Are they going to be home sellers? Are you interested in selling your home? Are you interested in a free home evaluation? Are you interested in relocation or investment properties? Those are 4 topics that I typically recommend, but now, you choose which ones you want. Let's say that one of the areas that you specialize in is seniors. So Are you interested in home buying or selling services from us, or advice from a senior real estate specialist or something like that? So in other words, target it to that audience. So if you really want to deal with seniors, then maybe one of those questions is senior services. Maybe if you don't want to do relocation or investments, but maybe you want to try to target first-time home buyers, then utilize first-time home buyers. So tailor this to your business, but make sure that that question, first of all, that question needs to be written in the visitor's voice as if they're asking you. So if you were to go back and look at mine, it says, what services do you offer? Do you design new websites, or do you help with existing websites? I'm interested in social media help. Is that something you offer? So I have the questions written in such a way that it's coming from the person that's sending the message, because it doesn't make any sense for it to come from you, right? You want it to be them reading and going, yes, I'm interested in home, in buying a new home. Okay. So that's where you start. Make sure your questions, pick your 4 questions, and make sure they cover the main topics, because if they're all about home buyer and you get somebody that's interested in selling with, and you don't say anything about, what you do for a seller, then they're going to go, well, they just work with buyers. They don't work with sellers. So I'll go to somebody else. So we never want to eliminate anybody. You want to make sure your questions cover every potential client that sees that messenger. So kind of leads you in the right direction. Now you can put in more than 4 questions, but what happens is they randomly go through they randomly then publish the 4 questions. Well, if you have 2 about home buyers or 2 about home seller or whatever it might be, then it may eliminate it may not show the question that you want to ask. You're looking at this going, well, yeah, well, you say I'm home seller and free home valuation. I know those are the same, geared toward the home seller, but you've got somebody casual, that's like, no, we're not really ready to sell. I'm just curious as to what my home is worth. So, they may, if you say, well, we offer services for home sellers, and they go, I just really want to know what my home's worth. Well, they may eliminate you from that. So that's why I like to include, when we're consulting with realtors, I like to include the free home valuation. Don't use, my recommendation again, don't use CMA, the abbreviation, or even spell it out, because does the buyer, or does the person reading that, know what that means? They go, well, a custom market analysis. Well, I don't want a marketing analysis. I just want to know what my home's worth. So don't use your terminology, use their terminology. Make sense? Okay. So the automated responses, you have 500 characters then to respond to them. That's not a lot. So you want to be concise, but you want to answer those questions. Again, you can personalize each question with first name. You can also include, like we did the personalize the home, the phone number, the address, the email, anything like that you want, web address. I typically don't here, but I'm going to show you where the cool stuff is. I personalize it with the first name, because again, I want it to know I'm talking to them. But you can add an attachment. You can add an image or a video. It has to be no more than 25 megabytes. So it's a really small video. You can do about a 10-second video, will fit in 25 megs. So, but again, it's a powerful attachment. If you wanted to, you could send back an image of something, but that's a nice thing to include. So the attachment is great if you want to create a little video that said, thanks for reaching out to me, and I'd be happy to help you with your home buyer services. You can add a button that directs visitors to your website. This is where you can really do some cool stuff, because let's say you've got let's say you have a form on your website for home valuation. What's my home worth type thing. If you've got if your website has that built in, then you can direct them to that. They can fill out the form. It gets them in your CMA if that does that, and you take them directly to that page you want. If you've got a page for home buyer services, you take them to the home buyer services. Or maybe you take them to your custom search setup page where they can build their ideal custom search. So you don't want to just take them necessarily to your website. You want to take them to the page that fits. So, and I'll show you that here. Well, let me show you that here now. I'll give you a sneak peek. So this is my website, and I'm going to talk about this in a minute, but I'll show you how that messenger, down at the bottom, I have the messenger tab built in, and I'm going to continue as a guest. And if somebody continues as a guest, this is what they see. So what services do you offer? How do you help existing website? Do you help with existing websites or build new sites? You have a question, I'm interested, can you tell me more? If they choose one of these, then automatically a page comes back that gives them gives them what I do. I picked the wrong question. Let's go back here. So I'll bring it back up. I'll come back and do this again in a minute, because I want to show you the one that has something that how you can utilize, how that works actually with a different response. Oops, move that out of the way. And then let's say that you want to add a PDF. Maybe you've got a buyer's checklist, a seller's checklist. Maybe you're using one of Brenda's buyer's guides or seller's guides from Pioneer. You can send that back to them as a PDF, but you can't attach it because it's not in an image format. It's not in a JPEG or a GIF. It's done in PDF. So all you have to do is upload that to someplace on your website, upload it to your media file, and then simply put that in the button. The button shows that it says more information, click here, or whatever however the button reads. And then as soon as you do that, it sends them a link back to that page in your website where they can download that PDF. So that to me is one of the coolest things you can do, especially if you utilize some of the tools that Pioneer offers. They have all that already done. So you can simply just grab that stuff and put one in for buyers, put one in for sellers, anything that they have, that marketing material they have that you want to use, add that to a button, and there you go. Now keep in mind, these answers are written in client-centered language. So you want to write this in benefit to the client. Yes, we do offer customized searches so that we can help you set up your search based on your criteria and everything that you want in your dream home, and build it around them, so that when they read the answer, it's like you're talking to them exactly. You wouldn't, if you were talking to somebody in person, you wouldn't say, Yes, we allow, we set up our clients a custom search and let them, let them find the criteria they want for their home. You don't do that. I mean, I hope you don't. You talk to them personally. It's one-on-one, right? So you're talking to one person. So make sure that your answers are addressed to that one person. You can also do an automated response when people recommend your page. So if somebody, recommends you, you can send them a thank you response about 10 minutes after they share it publicly that they've recommended your page. So that's a nice way to thank somebody for giving you a recommendation on your page. And the way that happens, it has the same format as questions. So you can send an attachment, um, or you can send, you can personalize it the same way. So you have all the same options that you had before. And in this case, you can even do a customize a thank you video, which is what I did with mine. So when somebody does a page, does the page recommended, then I uploaded a video, and the video immediately comes back to them and plays right there. They can click it and play it in Messenger that says, thank you for your confidence in 800 Business Ninja Marketing. We appreciate, everything that you did. And it's not easy because it was extremely difficult for me to create that video, not from a logistic standpoint. It was extremely difficult for me to be able to shut up in time to get everything said in a concise manner and make it fit in 25 megabytes. So, you might need to script that out because I just kind of winged it. And, and after about 4 tries, I went, okay, got to cut that out. Okay, got to cut that out. Okay, I got to cut that out. Now it works. So, but again, you can do it. You can do it on your phone. You can do it with some movie maker or iMovie or anything like that that you might have on your computer. So, and just when you save it out, look at the size of the finished file and make sure it's less than 25 megs. The other option is you can do an image, go to Canva, create a really nice thank you image, and then post that there. And then that gives you another option. And this is what it looks like when it comes back. So thanks for recommending us. We appreciate your confidence. Here's the video. You click it and it plays. So that's another cool little feature that you can do with recommended pages. Now, you saw the chat, the option to build chat on your website. It's a relatively new feature. And what the chat does is it lets you add your Facebook Messenger directly onto your website. So again, as I said here, it's this message down here. All I have to do is click that, and it then it comes up and asks a question, which gives them the options for those 4 questions, and then I can respond, and it starts a conversation. So it's a relatively simple process in that you go into the let me do this here. So you customize it to interact same way as you do the personalized. Use any kind of media that you want in there. It automatically loads recent chat history. So if you've chatted with the person before, or the business, and they chat, anything between you and them, it'll load that in so you can see the thread. So it automatically builds that in if they chat with you as them personally, like the option it gave me. And then it gives you the automated FAQs. You can even accept messenger payments through that. So through the chat, but the idea is it's a wonderful conversation starter. So the way you install it, you just simply, for WordPress, there's a plugin for that. If you're using WordPress, if you're using Wix or Weebly, You can go to the code. You can go to the developer site and just do a search online for um, developer for Facebook chat. And I should have got that URL and I didn't. Facebook chat plugin. And let's see here. Yep. So if you do developers.facebook.com, or actually if you just do a search for uh, Facebook chat plugin, in the first thing that comes up in Google is the address for it, and it tells you, all about it, how to do it, and gives you a whole tutorial on getting started. Is really simple with WordPress sites. If you've got something else, then what you do is it gives you a spot to copy the code. You can even email the code to your web developer if you have a web developer. I had someone install this recently for me that had designed a Wix site for a client that was having me do some changes, but I didn't have access to her website. And so what I did was I just had the code email to the person that designed it. And in Wix, they're not, people that usually design in Wix or Weebly are not the most savvy web design people, because they don't really understand code. They're just dragging and dropping and putting elements in there. But she was able to go into code and just drop the piece in there, and it worked fine. So it can be pretty easily incorporated with most every platform. I don't know that you could do that if you've got just a brokerage, just a website with your brokerage. I don't know that it will integrate there, because you may not have the same ability to add code. You'd have to check with them and see. But once you have that in there, you simply install it. It sits here on the page, and then when they log in, they can continue as themselves, or they can go as a guest if they want to be incognito. So they don't have to sign in. But if they're signed into their Facebook page, it's automatically going to sign in as them, and then you capture that information and you can connect, you can message them, you can start that conversation directly. So now you don't have to rely on the automated response at that point in time. Once they continue as them, then you have the option of really getting more in depth. Are you interested in, what area are you interested in looking for a home? Have you figured a price range? Are you working with a lender? All the questions that you would like to ask to get more data from them. So that's really that's really what you're trying to do, is get where you can create a solid conversation with them, either one time or continual. And then what happens is, and then what happens, like I said, when they answer the questions, you saw how that works. So that's how the chat plugin works. And I really like the aspect of the chat plugin, because now it's, they may not go to your Facebook page, but they may find your website. And so you can give them the ability to communicate with you through means other than an email address or a phone call. So if you haven't utilized this, I definitely would recommend you look into that. A little free bonus for you. I know we talked about chat, but I wanted to give you one more little tool that I ran across that one of the things I see people having a hard time with is creating content for their for their Instagram or Facebook stories. And that uses a different format. It uses a vertical format. It's hard to do from a desktop camera or from a desktop because that's a different perspective. But the other thing that's difficult with it is the fact that if you're going to do stories, you can't create a video and then save it and then go back and post it later. So it makes it really challenging if you want to try to create something and get it ready to go and then post it later on, because you've got to stop and do it. But you need to be posting like the stories with some regularity. So I found this little program called InShot. It's an app, and I think it has both Android or iOS. Works either way. But it's a cool little option where you can create video, photo, or a collage. It's free, but it lets you shoot video and save to post later. And you can add branding and special effects and do all kinds of cute things with it. But it also maintains the vertical perspective that is important for your Instagram or Facebook stories. So it gives you that, maintains the vertical perspective rather than the horizontal like your camera's going to do. So, and here's a little video that I did with InShot. Just the simple, just something simple that would just kind of explain how it works. So I just started with InShot here, shot a little video, and then you've got stickers that you can add. You can add logos to it. You can move stuff around. It works a lot like Canva in the fact that you can drag and drop things like that you want. So created that. Then it takes you, and you can add text to it. Oops, shouldn't have done that. Go back here. Let's see if I can move through this here. Won't let me. Okay. So then I can choose, I uploaded the video, I plugged it in. You'll see down here, it's populated the different screens. It populated the different, the different frames so that I can go to a specific frame. And I'll let this do its thing here, and I should have let it go in the first place. I recorded this off my tablet, so it's got some background noise in it from whatever was happening in the background. So all right. Should take me over to the next panel here. It lets me identify how long I want that. So what it's doing right now is it's setting the time that I want that header to show up on the screen. So I'm simply dragging the timeline down at the bottom for how long that header is going to stay on the screen. So again, pretty simple to do. And then you can add other elements. So now it plays it, so it lets you test and see how it is. You can add text, you can add stickers, so here's the text portion of it. Just drag and drop, you set the text in there. Cool little tool. And then you can put effects to that, colors and anything, that you want to do. Once you're done, you click the checkbox and you can move on. So font choices here. Anyway, that gives you an idea how it does. You can speed up videos with that. You can also trim clips and stitch them together. You've got some, you can add transitions between clips if you want to create sort of a cool little effect. You can add music, effects, or stickers. So all the things you need to do really to generate a really cool Instagram story layout. Save it to your camera roll once you're done, or you save it if you're on your desktop or on your phone, whichever, probably on your phone. You save it to your on your phone in your camera roll, and then when you're ready to do your stories, you just simply pull it up. You go to stories, add new, you pull it up in stories, and that's how you add it in. So gives you a way to build stories before you have to do it on the spot. So anyway, any questions? Hope you got some good information out of that. Just wanted to point out, some of you have heard before, or maybe some of you haven't. I have a program I call my 90-day Novice to Ninja course, which is going to be starting a week from tomorrow. Starts on the 22nd. It is a 90-day plan where I'm going to take you through weekly webinars covering different topics, much like I do with this. But we're going to do, those are all going to be on demand, so you can watch them in the group. I have a closed group that's going to be a community where people can ask questions, a monthly Q&A session. And then the biggest thing we're really going to do is help people implement the things they learn. So whatever topic we're working on, we're going to work on how do we implement that as well. If you're interested in that, you can go to 90daynovice2ninja.com and you can sign up there. So and there'll be actually when you close out of the here's my my contact information as well. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions or anything like that. Feel free to let me know. Also, when you exit out of this, when the webinar closes out, there'll be a little survey. So if you want to take a minute or two, I think just 3 questions, but I really am trying to get some more information on what topics you might be interested in, what are some of the things you might want to see, and things like that. So if we don't have any questions, thank you guys for coming. Thank you, Brenda, for once again sponsoring these, and hopefully you guys got some good information out of it, and we'll try that little chat plug-in, at least get it on your website to where that you get the right question set up. So any other questions?
Thank you, Gary. We look forward to seeing you next Wednesday.
All right. Thank you, guys. We'll see you next week. Next week's topic, by the way, is going to be going live. So I'm going to be talking about Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Some tips on how to go live, how to utilize the Facebook producer where you can create live video, and some of the best practices for going live. So join me for that. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.